I think JJK is mid.
I agree.
But he created Gojo Daughters.
What's Gojo Daughters?
Like
Something
Makima.
Sons? Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man and Makima Sons.
Yeah.
Makima
It's like
Sons versus
boy,
Gojo.
it's basically thirsters on TikTok.
Yeah.
Got it.
Girls thirst for Gojo and boys thirst for Makima. And I did not actually. You brought it up. I'm wearing the shirt.
Girls thirst for Gojo,
and
Yeah.
boys
for
thirst for Makima,
Makima,
and children long for the mines. Those are the three.
and that's why we have Made in Abyss.
Yes, that. Oh. Hi everyone. We are Perfectly Mid. My name is Carlo.
Emily.
Steve.
And we've got some news and some brackets for you today. So let's start with the news. So Frieren Season 2 has been announced.
Which we said in the last episode. I had to put a note in because you mentioned it was a rumor, and I was like, this has now been confirmed as I'm editing.
How did you find out?
It was rumored on
It was
social media.
heavily rumored on Twitter.
How do people find these things out?
There's people in the industry who mention things. So a fair number of these get
say somebody
mentioned in rumors.
say something to say some.
There's a few people who are believable and a lot of people who are not. So it's, you gotta be careful with them. But it was Frieren.
I'm too gullible, so I just take
We knew
everything with a
Frieren
grain
was
of
coming.
salt.
So
Do they happen through central accounts? Like, are there like specific Twitter accounts and TikTok accounts that leak news, or is it just like hearsay?
there's a
through
couple
the vine?
individual accounts who seem to have, at least for some that I've seen, there's a couple accounts that seem to be in the know. But it isn't like they leak all news about anime. It's like they maybe have some ins with like one or two of the studios, and so they might find something out that way.
And when you find it, is it algorithm to you, or do you follow people?
Algorithm. I find out most of my stuff on Twitter.
Emily's searching every day for in season
Yeah.
2.
Oh, hashtag.
Once Bocchi got announced, because
It's like a
it
matter
was
of
very
time.
close, and because of not just the connection, but like the director, I feel like they were holding off on one until they could say the other.
All right.
Why do you think they announced Bocchi first?
Because
Because it was her birthday?
because I would have said because it was coming out earlier, because Bocchi came out earlier. Except we don't have a date for Bocchi, but we do for Frieren. So
What's the audience for Frieren and Bocchi like? What's bigger, Frieren?
Frieren's bigger.
Is bigger.
Frieren's huge. Bocchi is really big though, and particularly in the West. I don't think they were expecting it to be that popular because the Bocchi manga is entertaining, but like it's not huge. It blew up a lot because the anime did a good job of not just telling the story, but it's one of those that through the art and the cuts that they choose to do makes it a more
elevated
engaging experience. I read the 4 Coma, it's all right, but like the anime is way better.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Frieren Season 2, and a little bit of Bocchi. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, Movie 1 of 3, has been announced.
So far.
The U.S. premiere date has been announced, September 12th, 2025.
That seems early. Is it early?
Is it early?
No, every other country's getting it first.
Oh, yeah.
There's like one other country that has it after us.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Other English-speaking countries get the English subtitles before
First.
the U.S. does, which is surprising.
That happens all the time when
It's
we look at
because
dubs.
Alex Lee has so many things that he has to do.
Scheduling conflicts.
That they were like, we can't get Alex Lee until September 10th. So,
Oh yeah, because I guess they would dub it because it's a movie.
and all the other movies have never.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
But like when
Demon
they
Slayer
do
did.
the like 3-episode things though, I don't know if they dub those.
They do.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, when we watched it in the Mist guy one in the movie
the
theater.
Miss Tashira.
Yeah, that was dubbed too.
Yeah, because obviously G-Quax didn't do that. I don't think Don did that. I think that was when that came out in theaters. It was also sub only.
it was
But I guess
sub.
Demon Slayer's big enough that they're like, get the crew together. We gotta.
I mean, yeah,
We gotta
Mugen
hit the
Train
dub
kind of
audience.
paved the way for it all.
Yeah.
As a selfish American, I always get annoyed when I'm looking at anime on Crunchyroll and I see that it's dubbed in German first or dubbed in Portuguese. I'm
Or
like,
French.
Or Hindi.
Yeah, or Hindi.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely more people that watch in Hindi than in English.
Yeah.
All right.
Or it just doesn't get a dub in English, but it has a dub in other languages.
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying. Are we going to watch Infinity Castle Movie 1 when it comes out?
Yeah. I'll watch it.
I like...
Yes, because the third Upper Moon fight is one I've been looking forward to
Which
since
one
the
is
anime
the
first came
third Upper Moon?
out. The guy who uses techniques named after fireworks.
Have we seen him?
Have you read the manga?
No.
You saw him in Mugen Train. He put a hole in someone.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's my favorite of the Upper Moons.
the donut maker.
Yeah.
Mr. Donut.
Mr. Donut.
Mr. Donut. That's actually his character name.
It's a Pokemon collab. Always a Pokemon. I like want to wait. I feel,
Until all three.
yeah, like
I'll probably wait on the
There's so
second
many.
one.
They should really do like a what did they do it for the Avengers Endgame, where like when it's the final movie, they should just play them all in succession.
like 24
That's
hours.
what they're doing in Japan. So I'm confused by this number, but apparently there have been 13 movies, meaning I think like batches
splice
of
them together.
episodes, and they're running all of them in Japan. That's
Like
how
leading
big,
up to the
yeah,
movie?
that's how big Infinity Castle is. That they've apparently bundled 13 different batches of episodes over the past few years, and they're airing all of them.
Is Demon Slayer like the anime in Japan?
It might be just for like mass appeal.
At least
As
right
big
now,
as like
yeah.
JJK is, yeah, Demon Slayer I think is still way bigger. The
And
anime.
In other Demon Slayer news,
Yes.
Demon Slayer and MLB recently did a collab. Did you see that?
Following the One Piece one.
baseball
Yeah.
breathing or whatever.
Yeah, so there's going to be a
That video
Or
series.
batting breathing.
That video was good.
It was very good, but there was a teaser. It was like MLB X Demon Slayer, and we were like, "Oh my God, something's happening! Something great is happening!" And it was just a glorified ad.
I was not excited because I've seen enough of these where everyone's like, "Oh, we're finally getting like Evangelion news for the 20th anniversary. What's it gonna be?" Oh, they're putting out like a new drink with McDonald's or something.
Uniqlo is
It's a new
making
bubble
shirts.
tea.
Never
A
get
new bubble tea,
never
yeah.
get excited for a teaser of a collab because it's gonna be like an item. So I'm sure, you know, you'll be able to buy like an Otani with like Tanjiro on it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they're always they hold their properties. The anime companies hold their properties so dear. Like they never really experiment with anything.
Well, yeah, licensing is I feel like a nightmare.
So if you're in Japan, there's a couple games that you can see. That's what they're doing. Is
Yes,
there's a
they have a
Tokyo
series.
series that they're gonna run, and
The
then
Cubs
products.
and the Dodgers
Yep.
are heading over and facing the.
because they
Sure.
have 5 Japanese players between them.
I think it's the Giants and the Tigers.
Yeah,
So.
That would make
So
sense.
Go Hanshin Tigers. I hope they win. And then what's funny is it's Yomiuri land. They call it Yomiuri, not Tokyo, which I hadn't realized. That was the theme park I went to.
I think it's all based on like whoever sponsors them rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
who it
Geographic.
geographically who it is.
Yeah.
Which is like one thing I do like about US sports. They haven't gone that way yet.
Yeah. Although Japanese teams, at least the ones I know, never move. They don't like, oh, we're
Yeah.
getting a tax break, we're leaving. Like the Hanshin Tigers have always been outside of Osaka.
Tigers won 2 years ago?
I don't know that
3
much. I don't actually follow the sport. I just went to school there, so I will always support the Hanshin Tigers. A nice old Japanese lady dressed me up in a Hanshin kimono, so that's my team.
Oh, not the happy coat, a kimono, a full kimono.
Yeah, I think it was oh no, it wasn't a kimono. It was I'm forgetting the term for the male version, but yeah, one of those.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, other news. You and I are polar opposites.
Yes. Did you ever read this one?
Is that the one where the girl looks like a cross between Akari and
She's got the pink
a
hair with the
fang?
giant. Yes,
she,
yeah.
She literally looks like a cross between Call of the Night and Akari from More Than a Married Couple. If
yep.
you push them all together,
It's
that's her.
pink-haired Gyaru
Gyaru
girl
with
in middle
fangs.
school with like the nerdy kid in school who like studies a lot. It's so cute and so fun, and all their friends are goofy. And the girl, I want to say her name is actually Akari. I might be wrong.
Another pink-haired Akari.
It might not be Akari. It's been because it ended 2 months ago, and I've already forgotten their names. But their friendship's so cute. She's like a bundle of just chaos, like fun chaos. It's adorable. The PV looks great. I'm very excited for the anime, and they put the PV out a year ahead,
What's a
which is usually a
PV?
good side. Like the preview video. So, and this one has like some animated scenes. It's not just here's
still.
the image.
Oh, so like the Demon Slayer trailers that we get, those are PVs, technically?
Yes, I think that counts as a PV.
Okay.
I don't know if that does because it doesn't even have any cut. It's just like a 3D castle you're falling in. But yeah, but the PV is like the preview video or something.
So it's like PV teaser trailer.
They don't even PVs are teasers.
PVs are
Yeah,
teasers.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then OVA.
And then, oh yeah. All right, we also have some news here. You wrote, no!
Yeah.
And then gave us a YouTube link.
So, did you ever watch One Punch Man, either of you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, One Punch Man fans. We have a PV for season 3.
Okay, let's see.
Give yourself a little bit of audio for the music they're trying to do to hype you up. This is, by the way, right after the studio came out and said they tried their absolute hardest to not disappoint fans. They're really, really working hard because this is the studio that did season 2, which was awful. I don't know if you even watched it.
Watched part of season 2. and
Is this
dropped
on?
it.
Is this Netflix?
What it airs on, I don't know, but they're not. It's the same studio that did the last one. I think it's not Dean. Whatever, play it and
And
just
get sad.
respond. Did that get you excited?
No,
How do you feel right now?
the animation looks bad.
Trash. There's a term for this. I forget what it's called, but they the few scenes that had some combat are apparently pre-edited. Like they're not done with the show, but they jump to scenes later in the anime to have something to put in the video. So that's like that was extra effort to make that.
What? Why? What happened?
Yeah, the community's not excited anymore.
There was so much hype for this, or like for this anime in general, and it's just fallen.
Well, I mean, it was a different studio that did season 1.
Oh, what studio was it?
I don't remember offhand. I'll put it on the screen. But the director of it, same situation that happened with all of Mob Psycho, was very well connected in the industry, so gets all of his friends to contribute, which is why One Punch Man was such a Sakuga fest, is because everybody who is anyone knew this guy, and he's like, hey, do you want to do a cut for this like crazy action show? And they're like, yeah, and you got these absurd names who aren't even part of the same studio to like contribute bits and pieces to One Punch.
Okay.
And that was only season 1.
And that's why it was so good, because people cared, and it was
cared and had
helping a
budget, and there was a lot of
friend, yeah.
talent, and then a different studio took it over for season 2. They have it for season 3. I would love for it to succeed. Nobody has any hope based off of that video. But hey, fingers crossed that you guys were joking, and the show is going to look better than that.
You're a huge One Punch Man fan. You love One Punch Man.
Yeah, Saitama.
Saitama. Close.
All right, and then
That's going to get us an As Noble comment.
Asnobru.
Yeah.
He's a bald mashal.
If
in
it's
my eyes.
Asnobru.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yes, I agree with you.
Anyways, Bandai Cross Store in Industry City, which is a
Yes.
small part of Brooklyn, all the way by the water.
Yep.
Then
You
he'd be
went
odd.
Yeah.
to check it out. So tell us all about it. How was it? What is it? What's going on?
It was cool. So it's right in Industry City. There's like a whole Japan city, I think is what they call part of
Yeah.
it. So there's a bunch of different Japanese shops selling food and merchandise
There's
and
a
things
book
like
off.
that. And there's a book off.
There's a
That
Daiso.
just
There
expanded.
is. I actually walked through the Daiso to get there.
The book off expanded there.
It's like the whole wall now.
Wow.
I didn't even check it out because I was on a time crunch.
They've
but-
got a sake distillery
Yep.
They do.
I saw that.
and the really good onigiri. The only place I'll get ume.
And the
in New
coffee
York.
jelly place.
I've also watched Jeffrey in NYC. It was an Instagram post my mom sent me, and I was literally there last week recording, but thank you. And it had listed the things you mentioned. But yeah, it's a pretty big open space, and they have a bunch of gachapon, so I bought one, of course, and then a bunch of Gundam and other figures. So they had one for the new G-Quack, so I picked that up.
Nice.
Way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. It looks nice. So now I have another build to do.
Was HG high grade?
I think it was high grade. It's not that big. The thing is only like this tall, but it looks nice. They have a bunch of Tamagotchi because Tamagotchi's making a comeback, and they had like one for Anya, and they've got Tamagotchi for Demon Slayer characters, and I think there was like a Bachiro one. And then they had a couple of video games and a bunch of stuff, an area just for the One Piece card game because that's blown up. They didn't have any of it out. They had little like cards you would grab for like, oh, I want this booster set or something, and you take it to the cashier to get it because they're not going to put that stuff on shelves.
Huh.
So yeah, it was really cool. So if you're looking for another place to buy, your anime,
For
manga,
retail.
Wii merch, for
Yeah.
retail, and you're in Industry City, which was a really cool spot. I have to go back. I didn't get to explore.
We should go back.
Yeah.
We should go. You should go back, and we should explore.
Yeah.
You reminded me with the One Piece cards. Did you see that Marvel is now in Magic: The Gathering?
No.
Yeah, they have.
Like officially, or like a collab thing?
Yeah, there's like Spider-Man's in it. Strange. Okay.
Strange is also in it.
Yeah, Mr. Donut and Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
So now we have our big ticket item for this pod.
Because we're recording in March.
Recording in March. Emily, our resident sports
fan.
Yeah.
was like, March Madness is happening. Let's do
Yeah.
a March Madness bracket. So
Yeah.
we decided to build a couple brackets, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to. We haven't prepped anything here, so we're going to
You guys haven't seen the brackets I
debate
made?
in real time
Yeah.
to figure out this first one. What is the best anime?
We are coming in hot, I guess.
Yes, this is the best anime of all time.
Yes, of all time.
of all time
in the past 5 years.
in the past 5 years of things that are relatively popular.
Yes.
And that we all have watched.
So to make this list, I took I was trying to find what are some relatively agreed upon good anime from the last few years. So I went on Reddit and picked like their winner of the past few years, Crunchyrolls, and then just kind of looking back at what I'd had as my top. I don't think I picked anything weird in that, but it's pretty much things that had won awards in group community votes, except for one or two, and you'll probably identify them. At least one of them is older than 5 years.
But they're all, I guess, what's the word? They are
whatever you're about to say. One of them, I would not agree.
Not contemporary, but like they're like in the zeitgeist. Like like enough people talk about these and know about these.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but it's not like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood where
it's not Full Metal
everyone's just
Alchemist
going to be
Brotherhood.
like, let's leap. So
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood versus Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. Those are the
versus
only two.
Full Metal Panic.
That's the debate.
Yes, we're just going through the Mal list.
Yes.
Okay, so this first one, coming in hot, Dandadan versus Konosuba.
Yeah, and please ignore the number on the image. I think we're judging the whole series, not like
not
season 3.
not the season,
Just
the
season
series.
3. of
Just season 3,
Konosuba.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm
And
are
we doing anime?
anime and no manga?
For this
Anime
one, no
only.
manga because it's best anime. There's another category for another bracket we have that's a little more unhinged that we'll have to allow manga discussion.
Okay,
But this one, no.
this one anime only.
Okay.
I know where I stand. I know where Steve stands.
I do want to point out, if you're looking at it by comedy, because they both have comedy, Konosuba has better comedy. Dandadan is funny. Konosuba is frequently has me cackling on my couch.
This is so that's I asked for if it's anime only because how can you judge something based on 12, 13 episodes?
I mean, it was a very popular 12 episodes.
It's a very good.
If we're allowed to judge the manga, we're gonna have to put a huge spoiler warning. And Carlo and I are gonna be bringing up things that aired this week.
Yeah, like the only manga.
First of all, if manga counted, not only does Dandadan win this, I would put it in the final. It wins the whole thing. So we're not counting the manga because then I'm way too biased.
Dandadan versus Berserk.
Yes, exactly. And
All right, well,
Berserk's not even in the table. There's a button you'll click.
Boys.
Okay.
Swords and fights. Anyway,
Well, we're arguing.
these two for our anime.
I think the heights that you reach in Dandadan are higher than the heights you reach in Konosuba.
Okay.
I actually am not as close to you on this as you think I am. Hey, Kitty, we're gonna lose our camera, aren't we? You might need to move the cat, even though they're pretty good about. Oh wow, it stayed
good.
balanced.
We just had a
I should have
cat issue.
trusted.
Cat, come here.
I shouldn't say that because 3 episodes now they've jumped up and never disrupted the camera.
Our cats
Anyway,
are Peak and Sasha,
I
so it's
might-
only appropriate that our Titan is the chaos right
Yes.
now.
I am not
Miss
actually
Sasha.
decided, but go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
So, who do we have here? Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what you were gonna say.
So, if I'm thinking, okay.
Keep on talking. I'm gonna
Dandadan
go deal with
versus
this.
Konosuba.
Yes. And we have no real criteria. This
No
is just
criteria.
for us.
This is just talking. So if we're talking like best anime of all time, I think so. Like breaking it down, Dandadan to me is more multi-genre.
Yes,
right?
very much so.
It has a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. But for me, I think when I think of best anime, I think of like universality. So I'm like, okay, Konosuba is someone that male, female, young, old, anyone can jump right into, and it's relatively inoffensive.
I would mostly agree, except I think Dandadan is very easy to jump into, barring that one scene in episode 1. But there's a bunch of scenes like that in Konosuba. Konosuba is pretty ecchi.
I also feel like Konosuba.
But I agree with you. I do still think there's more universality to it, and it has better fights.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say I actually think the fights are more interesting.
I think Dandadan has more. I think it's easier for somebody who doesn't know anything about anime to jump into Dandadan than it is to jump into Konosuba.
I would agree with that if you don't consume anime, but if you consume anime, I think any of the barriers in Konosuba disappear immediately.
Yes, yeah.
So if this is not your first anime, I think Konosuba is actually like just about anyone could get into it pretty easily.
Man, this is a debate.
And again, I love the fights in Dandadan, but I think Konosuba has some incredible fight scenes. So like I think it contends very well there. And again, I think it has better comedy.
It is very hard because you're saying it's one season, right?
Correct. And if you want to start talking best girls, it's like we've really only got Momo to talk, and obviously Seiko, who is
Yeah.
best girl, Seiko.
Turbo Granny.
Turbo Granny is the best mascot.
She's the best cat.
But
and best girl.
Megumin and Darkness together, the only contenders. There's nobody else in Konosuba who could contend for best girl. Best fucking trashy mess. Aqua, easily. Yes, because we're discussing this now, and if you ask me next season or after the second season of Dandadan, my answer might change.
Yes,
but
it definitely will.
I actually lean towards Konosuba, even though I like Dandadan as a complete series better.
I agree. So the reason I'm
so sorry to the team behind Dandadan.
Yes. And you were like the biggest Dandadan stan that I know.
I didn't know how strong I was going to be swinging for Konosuba when we started this episode. I actually thought this was going to be a really easy round, and now I'm not sure.
I just, when I put on an episode of Dandadan, I'm able to watch it the whole way through. When I put on an episode of Konosuba, like 15 minutes in, I make the determination, like, is this an episode where I pay attention, or is this an episode where I'm like, okay, I'm like tuning out.
You think there's more filler,
I
but is that
think
because
there's
it's
more-
longer?
No, I think the first season of Konosuba is very good. Second season, I was just like, okay, some of this is meh. Third season picked it up again.
Okay.
I think Dandadan is more consistent in its quality
But again, we're comparing something with 12 episodes.
to something with
So they're kind of come in with the hype.
40-ish episodes.
Plus a really good movie and a really ecchi movie. There are two.
Oh,
And-
Ecchi can't be good, Steve.
And the whole Megumin arc.
And the Megumin arc, which, okay, actually that dragged down a bit for me, but technically that's
Yeah.
a different show.
Okay, so what are we gonna choose? We have
I don't like
we
that.
have
I don't
8
like
of
that. I
these.
might be settling this one. I don't feel good about it. Emily, where are you leaning?
I mean, you are going to be the one settling because
No.
I'm leaning. As a female jumping into something, and Konosuba.
pulling the female card.
No. So I will. Episode 1 is quite jarring. If you are triggered, if you're
but we're
easily
judging. But we're
triggered.
judging the whole show, so we have
Exactly.
to assume you've watched the show.
Well, there's that, and then I think there's like certain other discourse of like, the male nudity is funny, whereas the female nudity is like not as funny. Whereas
It's not played for laughs.
It's not played
Yeah.
for laughs. Whereas in Konosuba,
It's all for laughs.
It's all for laughs.
Well, it's for laughs and ecchi.
Yes, but inherently it's comedic timing.
Konosuba, I would argue, is more made for the male gaze.
Yeah.
Both these anime feature panties in their first episode.
That's true.
This is true.
One of them, though, features a character who has the panty thief steal ability. I mean, it's just for stealing, but he usually gets panties.
I think so. If
I don't know what I'm arguing. I just don't want to have to choose.
If there was one more season of
can't move.
Dandadan,
Yes.
being a Margarita as well,
Yeah.
I think I would have picked Dandadan. If we're purely doing on anime season,
What currently exists?
what currently exists, I'm going with Konosuba.
Once we get God Kinta, it's going to be Konosuba or Dandadan, but I got to pick Konosuba. I'm so sorry.
All right.
But once you give me season 2, the second I see season 2, which could happen earlier, the sooner I see it, the sooner I change my answer. But right now, it's got to be Konosuba.
I love how you both make concessions. Like you're like, next year it's gonna be different. I promise it's gonna be different.
It really is.
All right.
That's the consultant in
Yeah.
me.
Konosuba.
All right, so next.
All right. Next
This
is
one's going to be fast.
Delicious in Dungeon versus JJK.
So, just to be nice, JJK has some nice animation.
Amazing animation.
People suffered horribly for it, which I think is a huge
Yes.
caveat.
Yes. I think JJK is mid.
I agree. In the way we've described, which is it's fine. It's not a popcorn show, but like I'll watch it, and as soon as I'm done watching,
But
I'm
it
done.
created Gojo Daughters.
What's Gojo Daughters?
Like,
Wait, what's the alternative Gojo Daughters in? Was it not My Hero?
It's like
something
Makima.
Sons. Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man and Makima Sons.
Yeah.
Makima Sons versus
boys.
Gojo.
It's basically thirsters on TikTok.
yeah.
Got it.
Girls thirst for Gojo and boys thirst for Makima. And I did not actually. You brought it up. I'm wearing the shirt.
Boys.
I don't thirst for Makima. There just wasn't a good. There wasn't a good power hoodie. I have a jacket. I would have worn it, but it's
So
too cold.
you said girls
it's
thirst.
Makima.
Girls thirst for Gojo,
and
Yeah.
boys
for
thirst
Maka-
for Makima,
Makima.
and children long for the mines. Those are the 3.
And that's why we have Made in Abyss.
Yes, Made in Abyss.
Anyway,
Not included. Okay, so we're both dungeon meshy.
it's delicious in Dungeon. Clearly, the better art, better characters.
Do you agree?
I mean, I can't fairly judge because I haven't watched all of Delicious.
How much have you watched?
Like sporadic episodes whenever he watches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the intro song is really fun.
Yeah. What do you think about the characters?
I can't. So I think I don't know. I think it was boring.
Delicious and Dungeon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it
So
was just a little too I feel like there was too many cooking shows in a fantasy world coming out at the same time that it kind
That's
of
interesting
got.
because this is the one that basically
That
started
kind of
all of that.
yeah, but
But
it
it
kind
was
of got
like
lost for
because
me.
it was all had it come out in a different
like
season,
there were so
you would have
many
liked
that
it more.
were like, oh, there's a guy that gets either isekai'd, reincarnated, or is part of a fantasy world, and he's cooking, and
Yeah.
whether he's
And this has none of that. I mean, well, it just is a fantasy world, but yeah.
And I also just appreciate the. To me, JJK is like AOT, where it brought a lot of people into the anime community that otherwise wouldn't have been into the anime community, which is why
If we were judging good for the anime community, that would matter. But
Best-
we're arguing
best-
best anime.
Best is a really loaded
it is,
term.
it is.
There's so much
Yeah.
best.
I'm partially picking. I'm also upset with Carlo for not making you just watch up to episode 13 when it suddenly changes genres entirely.
I can't make Emily watch anything
But
because
it's
Emily
Trigger!
Emily watches
I know.
20 times the amount of
So,
things
so
that I
Emily,
watch.
do you lean towards JJK? Is that what you're saying?
so I lean towards JJK. Yes, I lean toward JJK in this
Okay,
one.
so you're a Gojo daughter.
I'm a Gojo. No, I'm a ghetto daughter, but that's a
Oh,
whole
wow.
other conversation.
I'm
Yeah.
a mind child.
Well, I'm voting for Delicious.
You're
and
just a
Dungeon.
twat.
Because we got to go to the mines.
I'm Dungeon Meshy. We're
We
going.
got to get Fallen.
I secede on this one.
Yeah.
All right.
This is
This is
why
not
this
one
is
I
why it's
feel
convenient that
very
there's three of
strong-
us.
Yeah.
All right. This one is. I made this one hard for Emily.
Yeah.
Yuri on Ice.
This is a
versus
clear winner for me.
Apothecary
It's not even
Diaries.
it's not even hard. Like this is a
Anime
2-second decision.
only because there is no manga for
Yeah,
Yuri on
because
Ice.
Yuri on Ice is a anime only.
Yes. Oh, wait, there's no light novels?
No.
No, there's
it was
nothing.
an
It's original
It
material.
was
No,
No,
original
but there's
story.
like nothing afterwards.
no.
Just art.
Nothing's
And
ever
doujins.
made any.
Nothing was
no
ever made and
official
nothing will be
continuation.
made.
Except for all our
Emily was
favorites.
already glaring at me before I started.
All right,
that
so
sentence.
you're Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah.
You're Yuri on Ice.
Yes, and the reason I am Yuri on
Yeah,
Ice.
convince me.
Yeah.
So Yuri on Ice to me transcends and helped drive a lot of modern day anime. And bear with me here.
Okay.
One, it was the project that put Studio Mappa on the map. It was one of their first ones that really put them to the top of animation. There's animation techniques that are made within the ice skating, and it was one of the first trackings, to my knowledge, fact check me, that where they tracked actual
Wait, you're pointing, but that
skaters.
means I have to fact check.
Yes.
I'm not doing it. Put it in the
Fact check me.
comments. I'm not fact checking that.
Where they were actually tracking skaters.
Oh, okay.
And-
So they were like not rotoscoping, but something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were tracking
scanner
skaters, and that's
correctly.
how they animated. So I feel like that's a lot, like, is the foundation for a lot of current sports
The
anime.
foundation for Mappa overworking
Also,
their animators.
the fact that Yuri on
Trace
Ice,
makes it easier.
the home sales on the DVD, really put Mappa on the map, and then it's like a coded Yuri. So
I'm giving you 10 more seconds.
You mean a coded coded BL?
yes,
because-
a coded BL. Sorry, a coded Yaoi. So it's like you have a lot of different characters. This is like the genesis of the sports anime. You would not have
10 more seconds.
You wouldn't
5.
have Haikyuu. You wouldn't have Slam Dunk. You wouldn't have some of these
Slam
other.
Dunk happened before.
Okay,
Slam
fine.
Dunk
You
happened
wouldn't have
20
some
years
of these
before.
other male sports animes
Finish
with
it.
this much powerful without Yuri on Ice.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm giving you a minute. For
I don't need a full
Apothecary
minute.
Diaries.
I just want to comment on
Plus the opening history maker.
Haikyuu already existed, and so did Slam Dunk and other sports and other sports anime that were very popular. Prince of Tennis is still one of the most popular with girls in Japan. So like, Yuri on Ice is great, but you can't give it all that credit for sports anime. Also, it's BL coded. It's not BL. Like it didn't commit. And I hold that against it, but Apothecary because it didn't commit. It rode the coattails of like we're supporting gay, but like the characters are not actually gay. It doesn't happen.
Okay.
But Apothecary
married.
Diaries, consistent animation all the way through a full season, and we're in the second season. Way more compelling story. There's more. It's a little unfair because one is just about skating and one is about this massive palace intrigue and history. The color choices in it are more interesting. The musical choices in it are more interesting. There's good songs they skate to in Yuri on Ice, but the overall music I don't think is as compelling.
Okay.
And there's a wider cast of interesting characters that aren't one note in Apothecary Diaries. Because the skaters are fun, but a lot of them are just, I'm playing this trope because I'm not on screen that long and like I'll be funny and entertaining in a 12-episode sprint because
Okay.
I'm one person, but that's all I am.
All right. I think Yuri on Ice is a more entertaining show.
Okay.
The memes, the lols, Kristoff. is great.
Agreed, but also Kristoff, you're making the argument I just said. Kristoff is the one character.
Kristoff is amazing.
Yes.
Now, Apothecary Diaries, I love it. Apothecary Diaries, my issue with it, when we've been watching the second season, I don't, and Emily tells me that the manga is a little different, but I don't like that it's a Monster of the Week mystery, the way they put it in the anime.
It is, but there's stuff going on that you just haven't
There's stuff in the back.
There's all these threads you don't know.
I also don't, so big fan of like Law and Order SVU and all these procedural shows where you see the clues along the way so you can take a guess as to who did it. In Apothecary Diaries, it's like they don't tell you anything and they're like, this is how it was done. And then Mao Mao's like, yeah, because I saw this, and you're like, how would anybody have known that?
In the manga and the light novels, there's inner thought text that you can read, but the show doesn't have as much of that.
And Emily's been telling me you have to read the manga because it's so much better.
That said, I don't read it trying to solve the mysteries because I don't feel like I'm equipped to know, like, this is science knowledge. So
Yeah.
I'm watching somebody use science knowledge. I'm not, if they mention like, oh, this is arcanite and it's toxic, I'm like, I wouldn't have known that.
It doesn't feel rewarding.
But I don't want it to. I'm rewarded in the small mysteries and then seeing how, to be fair, because of the time we're putting this out, I'm judging it for what I know the rest of the season will be because this happens to be airing. So I'm judging it for what I know all the threads this season lead to. Because I think we have to. If you're watching this episode in 4 weeks, you know what the season is.
Provided you watch it regularly, not like me,
again, we're
when I watch everything
so
3 seasons.
Literally, you're talking about it the way that she was talking about Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm Apothecary Diaries. You're obviously
this.
Yuri on
All
Ice.
being said,
Yeah.
I think Apothecary Diaries is a better anime. I think
Best anime?
Better than
of these two, if I had to pick a best anime for the lols, I would pick Yuri on Ice, and I would love to debate that like on some BS.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great 20-minute. Let's just argue this. But
I think Apothecary Diaries is better.
I would also, if they had actually been clearly gay and together in the show, I would have a slightly different opinion of it. But I think it gets a bit too much.
Married.
I think it gives a bit too much credit for what it didn't do.
They get married?
Yeah.
Where did they get married?
At the end of the season, they exchange rings.
Did they say that's what it is?
did
Did
they
they say we're married, or
married?
did they exchange rings?
Well, Victor jokes about it.
See,
Right,
there's a
that's
lot
the thing.
of implications.
It's the same thing with Witch from Mercury, where like it was blatantly Yuri, but they're like, we're not going to say it because we can't.
Be brave.
Yeah.
Be brave, Yuri on Ice.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So when I said that not every show is actually from 5 years and one show didn't fit the criteria I found the others in, there's one of them here.
This is a weird matchup.
Okay.
Carlo made sure one of these was in here. Can you guess which one?
Cyberpunk versus Psyche K. This is
Now thinking about it, probably a better match would have been Psyche K versus Konosuba. It serves the same.
That would have made
we
more
wanted
sense.
to mix things up.
Yeah, actually, Don Cyberpunk would have been a harder one for me to talk about. But we didn't want all of the first rounds to take forever either.
Yes.
That's true.
So,
Even though they are.
To save some time on this one, Psyche K, very funny. I admittedly didn't finish it. Cyberpunk is one of the best anime I've seen in the past 5 years. I don't think this is close.
I agree.
It was just
I
entertaining.
think for me, this is more of a call out. You should watch Psyche K.
Yes, watch Psyche K.
Yeah, you guys have mentioned enough. Maybe I'll actually go back and finish it.
Are you Dark Reunion?
It's one of the animes that I quote pretty regularly.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, close out of this. We got to get over. Wait, why is it not giving us the go back down?
Use matchup mode.
Why is it having?
Oh, it just does the whole left side.
I mean, that's fine. It wouldn't be versing the other
That's
ones
weird.
yet.
I don't think I can change the order, but okay.
All right, so
Go
let's
back
just
down.
do it this
We
way.
can also just
Let's just do it the way that this is doing it. Konosuba versus Dungeon Meshi. Steve, how are your
I'm just
gears?
rethinking if we should be going on the right side anyways, because it feels weird to figure out the quarterfinal before we even. I mean,
Yeah. I'll zoom in like this. Yeah. Okay, we're doing Kaguya-sama versus Demon Slayer.
Okay.
As we just talked about Demon Slayer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Demon Slayer's huge. Season 1 was very, very good. Season 2 was very, very good. Season 3 happened. Season 4 happened.
And the movies are yet to happen.
And the movies haven't happened, so we can't judge off of that.
Was the
Season 3 was the
swordsman
worst.
arc,
Yeah,
and
the
then
Swordsman
season
Village.
4 is the training.
The dragged out training.
Kaguya-sama just hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. For 3 seasons in a movie.
Yeah.
And the movie was also very, very good.
Are we gonna make it like Community, 6 seasons in a movie, but they already did the movie?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 2 more seasons would end it.
I'm all for Kaguya-sama.
I mean, I am
this
too.
one.
For me,
I really enjoy Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer for me is like a fun watch. It's a typical battle shonen. But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just like
It doesn't reinvent.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's generic.
Yeah.
The animation is fun. The characters are fun. The voice actors, you can tell, have a blast doing it.
I like it better than JJK.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's well written.
Yeah.
The character and like
I like that
the
they
characters
give-
are fun.
yeah.
The cosplay is fun. The villain is Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's like Japanese older era Michael Jackson.
I want Muzan to say that.
To me, I think
he
it's fun.
Slaps.
Yeah.
I think Kaguya-sama has the character development. It has the comedy. It has the romance. It has the arcs.
It doesn't
It
just use the
elevates-
tropes, it actually changes and plays
It
with
builds
the
on
tropes
them,
instead
yeah.
of just using them.
Yeah.
I think
One
Kaguya-sama
of
is
the
a
greatest
better anime.
confessions of any romance series I've read.
Yeah. And it has a whole episode devoted to a watch.
And a rap battle.
And
a rap battle.
And a whole movie devoted to what happens after a confession.
All right, so Kaguya-sama it is.
Yep.
Next.
Totally fair matchup.
This one was also, I was trolling
This was
Emily a
not
bit.
me.
Fruits Basket versus AOT.
I'm gonna lose this one.
To be fair, it was tough to pick some things that wanted some representation, but I don't know. It feels a little unfair in a best anime contest because things that tend to have more general appeal will probably end up rising to the top
And
there.
things
And
that-
romance series don't do as well in best anime.
It's also where they
comparisons.
aim for. Like, if you're aiming for, like, I want to study the human condition versus I want
to study human-animal conditions.
versus I want to study, just two people falling in love, which is a great thing in of itself, but it's a much smaller scale. That coming to the best anime. So
It's
AOT
hard because
versus-
both of these anime are what Mal's top 10 or 15.
Yeah,
Somewhere in that range, yeah.
I think
And a couple of these others are also in that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're both incredible anime. I just think the impact that AOT has had on anime in general eclipses what Fruits Basket has done.
I mean, I think AOT is one of those that transcends the anime community. Like it is one of those that like you can recommend it to anyone.
Yeah. And like you said,
Yes.
it's one of those that it dragged a ton of people into anime where that was their first anime.
Exactly.
And then you try to show them another anime and they're like, what's this weird weeb shit? Like,
Yeah.
give me back to
Then you show them
Wars.
Konosuba,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Wait, why are boobies bouncing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like to recommend like AOT first, then Prison School, then High School DxD.
Yeah.
That's the three. That's the trinity.
That's your top.
I
three.
think the easiest thing for me to say on this is like there are a few anime like the anime, and I'm not saying Attack on Titan's a 10 out of 10 for me, but the anime that I end up giving 10 out of 10s are anime I think about randomly will pop in my head. Attack on Titan will randomly pop in my head. Fruits Basket doesn't do that. It was enjoyable, but like the things Attack on Titan made me feel, just sometimes I'll reflect on that.
For me, Fruits Basket was like my gateway. It was My Hero, Tokyo Ghoul, then Fruits Basket, and for me, Fruits Basket put me on a whole other trajectory.
It's your favorite.
It is my number one, and I think it's this is for Fruits Basket is for someone who is looking for not your typical let's go in and fight.
Yeah.
Let's not have your typical male protagonist. Like I've recommended Fruits Basket to more people, and more people have followed through with watching Fruits Basket than finishing AOT.
AOT's heavy.
AOT's a
AOT's
longer
heavy.
commitment.
Been long, yeah.
And they dragged it out way too long. Fruits Basket was what the reboot was 20.
It was 3 seasons. And
Yeah, I
one of
know,
them
but I
wasn't a
forget
full
when the
length.
reboot was. And it ended in 2023.
I think it was. Yeah.
So
I
it
think
was,
like
2019 through
2019.
2023.
Yeah.
So
It
it
was
was
pretty
like
quick.
a full
AOT was
reboot.
what, 10 years?
Yeah. To be fair, the animation in one required a lot more than the other, but yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
but
disagree with anything you're saying about
Yeah.
Fruits Basket, but
this was a heartbreaker.
yeah.
This was a bullshit matchup.
Aaron would literally murder every character in Fruits Basket. So that's what happened here. It was violent.
Akito is they're both. they
Akito
both
is a
are
murderer, but his literal body count is not the same as Aaron's body count.
This is fair.
Talking about people they've killed.
Okay, because
Yes.
I think body counts. Yeah.
Has a different meaning, which is why I specified what it should mean, which
Yeah.
is you've killed people and left their bodies. Akito sucks. That's why I'm getting rid of Fruits Basket.
Speaking of body counts, Chainsaw Man versus Frieren.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Frieren.
Frieren first. I was like, what body count is
Chainsaw
there in
Man
this?
to me is the most mid anime of most overhyped, mid anime that I've watched.
I think it was overhyped. I don't think it's mid.
I think Mashal is better than Chainsaw Man.
No!
That is so incorrect.
I was so bored during Chainsaw Man. I thought it was such like a performative, like there was no reason to have a different ending for every single
It was for
episode.
creative reasons.
You could have used that budget for Ice Adolescence, MAPPA, and
There's a bias.
That's not how budgets work, but yes, it's from the production
I
committee,
just
but
thought
yeah.
it was so boring. I was bored.
Chainsaw Man suffers
Denji
a bit
is
from the
not-
fact that we only got 12 episodes
Yeah.
and everybody's hyping it, assuming we would get past the entry point where you meet all the characters and Beam shows up.
And the first season's very slow.
I was
I
bored.
disagree in the sense that it moves the same pace as the manga does, and like going back through it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this was what it was. I enjoyed watching it because I'm like, oh, I like getting some time to breathe with these characters. The extra like episode with Aki and them living together, I was like, oh, now I'm gonna feel it if something happens to any of them. But we only got the 12 episodes,
I think
you can't move it forward with what we have right now.
I know it's by design, but like Denji is such an unlikable character.
Yeah, he's not the protagonist.
Yeah, but there's very little characters that I actually liked. Like Power was the only character that I liked, and that's because she had a cat and she was funny.
Yeah, Nyanta.
And the rest of the character, I was kind of like, I don't really care if you all die.
I
in
think
this
we can
episode.
move on from this because Chainsaw Man, it's same thing. It's too
Yeah,
early to
too
judge
early.
this. And once I'll be excited to revisit this conversation once we get the Reze movie and then season 2.
I feel about this the same way I feel about Dandadan.
Yeah.
Once season 2 happens, I'm
Everybody's
going
to actually understand
Chainsaw
why
Man.
people hyped it up. Whether or not they fully agree, they'll at least understand why people hyped it up because literally nobody's doing what happens in the second half of Chainsaw Man.
But
Frieren is the top anime on Mel.
I do disagree that I stand by. I think season 1 was slow.
Oh, I'm not saying you're
Yeah,
wrong. I'm saying
yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah. All right.
I have
My Hero Academia versus Arcane.
yeah. I mean, this one's easy.
People
for
might
me.
get mad about this and Cyberpunk.
Our
but-
rating, or that it's
no,
listed?
that they're included in animes.
Cyberpunk was straight up anime. It was done by a Japanese
But, yes.
animation studio.
Okay, now Arcane.
So real quick, we mentioned this in another episode. Japanese people use the word anime to refer to animation. When I went to the Terminator panel, the guy was at the director,
Yeah.
the Japanese director was asked his top 5
Really?
anime. He mentioned 2 Disney movies because
Yeah.
anime means animation.
That being
Arcane
said,
counts. Get over yourself.
Lion King beats everything.
I wouldn't put Disney up against any of these, but like for
Dumbo.
me, it's easily Arcane.
Cinderella.
Lion King wins.
Even with, second season could have used another episode or 2 to breathe. It's one of the best television shows I've watched
Arcane?
in years. Yeah.
MHA,
Also changing animation styles to your conversation on like Yuri, like that has done so much for like what people consider in how to
Yeah.
create Western animation.
like Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was.
It's that and the Into the Spider-Verse movies are the 2
Oh,
where I'm
yeah.
like, oh, these actually deserve to like compete against other non-American animation. I mean, that's French, but still.
I think MHA, I don't know what they're doing. I'm going to deal with these cats.
They're upset with their choices.
I think
They're still mad
if
about Fruits
MHA
Basket.
ended at season 3, I think I would have chosen MHA. And then
Okay.
it just,
the villain arc put you over the edge.
yeah, it's just, okay, Arcane it is.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
I
now
don't
we
feel
go
strongly enough.
Now I think if
to
you go
argue.
back to the
to
Thanks to
the
this
story.
thing.
Now I got to zoom out, use matchup mode.
There we
All right. Konosuba versus Delicious in Dungeon. Talk. The cats are being very
Well, hey.
annoying today.
they're all like really
They're
interested in the
hungry.
cameras. I mean, I can guess what your answer is going to be for this because you've already said you didn't fully finish one of them, and I know how strongly you feel about Konosuba.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's. But I do appreciate Dungeon Meshi. I feel like has taken the world by storm.
Yes.
Like a
The
lot.
anime world.
The anime world by
Yeah.
storm.
The manga was incredibly popular in the manga community too. Like a lot of mangaka credit the creator of that for like getting them interested in doing fantasy or like the cooking in another world.
The animation in Dungeon Meshi is incredible. Like when we
It's
went
peak Trigger.
when we went to the Trigger panel and they mentioned that what's her name?
Marcel.
Marcel. She has different hair
Hairstyles.
every episode, and in episodes like she
multiple.
might change hairstyles.
Yeah, in a scene. Like she hasn't gone anywhere, but her hair might change because they did it for fun.
And we're just like,
Because she does it in the manga too. Like her hair's constantly changing.
we just look and we're like, okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
The attention to detail in Dungeon Meshi is
I mean,
out of this
if we're
world.
looking at versatility, right? I think that Konosuba is very one note.
Yes.
Versus Dungeon Meshi, from the episodes I have seen, it's like, it has development, ebbs and flows.
Yes.
The world feels more lived, like there's thought to the creatures that exist.
The characters have changed more in fewer episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Megumin, though, and that does hurt it.
No explosions or purification or...
Yeah.
Or BDSM. I was like, what do we say for darkness? And that's pretty much it.
But Konosuba doesn't have Senshi.
Yeah, that's true.
The sexiest man alive.
Number one.
Yeah.
So I'm all in on Dungeon Meshi.
I'm leaning Dungeon Meshi. I love Konosuba so much.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the next OVA we're getting, but...
I mean, I'm going to stick with Konosuba, but I'm outnumbered.
All right. Dungeon Meshi?
Dungeon Meshi, I
Dungeon
think.
Meshi it is. All right. Next up, we've got Cyberpunk versus Apothecary Diaries.
What's funny is Emily was not defending Apothecary Diaries in the last one. Does your position change now that it's up against Cyberpunk?
No, because I do think I think I'm Team Cyberpunk on this one. I think it.
I thought my marriage was ending.
No. If we're saying strictly,
It might be. My happy marriage is
Anime.
not in this.
like strictly looking at like objectively,
Yeah,
right?
just what we have.
Yeah, like I think that Cyberpunk takes you on a more deep and emotional journey. It makes you think a little more outside of like the mystery. Like it makes you think philosophically a little more.
And it tells a full story
Yes.
in its one season.
This is like
fully
this was what
realized
12
story.
episodes, right?
Cyberpunk? I don't even think it was 12. Wasn't
Less
it like-
than 10?
Yeah, it was 8 or 10.
So like to
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
Which is
Cyberpunk
even
is
more
the
impressive
power
for
of
what
how
it was a core.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a testament to how you can accomplish investment in characters within 10 episodes, and
Yeah.
you can tell a whole story in 10 episodes. Like it doesn't have to be a 24 episode
Right.
core to make people feel
And you can build a very rich world.
robust world.
You can
yeah.
get very attached to characters and their journeys and also learn a lot about the world, like without playing the video game. That got a bunch of people to go back and give the Cyberpunk game another chance.
Yeah, and people may say like, oh, but the video game's there. Like, I did not play the video
Same.
game,
I
and
didn't.
I watched it and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. I've been
So-
tempted to start the video game, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have characters I care about as much as these characters. So I'm waiting until Cyberpunk is further into my history to touch the video game.
And it had one of my favorite songs of 2023.
It also has two. I mean, this matchup to me is like, okay, my two strong women, right?
You're talking about Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
And oh,
Rebecca is actually one of the strongest arguments for it.
Yeah.
And Trigger made her put her in it, and they were like, "Please take out the small girl," and that Trigger would not move. They're like, "No, the lowly stays." That's like a quote they've said in interviews. They're like, "No, Trigger told us the lowly stays," and they were right. Rebecca's the most popular character in the show.
they just hold Netflix hostage. They're
Yeah.
like,
Trigger's like,
"I
"We're
love
gonna
this
stop
game."
drawing if you make us age Rebecca up. She's funnier as a small girl."
It also gave us some
We'll burn
slang.
it down.
Tune.
Oh yeah, choom.
Choom, yeah.
Freaking choom.
Yeah, what phrase have we gotten out of Apothecary Diaries? Not choom. Small frog.
yeah,
That's what we
small
got
frog.
out of it.
Average size frog.
So Cyberpunk.
Now we got to do Kaguya-sama versus AOT.
Oh, I know how I land on this one because there's one of those that I've mentioned every other episode since we started recording this podcast.
I'm
I'm
Team AOT.
I'm Team Kaguya for consistency, for one, because there's parts of Attack on Titan that are not as good consistently. I don't think Kaguya-sama has lulls in the story the way that Attack on Titan has lulls in the story. It's largely good, but there's
I thought I heard you say lol.
Lulls in the story.
Oh, there's no...
I was like, where are there
Kaguya-sama is
lulls?
not
Oh,
as funny
yeah.
as AOT.
and,
LOL.
and, I like the characters in Attack on Titan a lot, but there's just some of my favorite characters in anime are in Kaguya-sama. And not even, like, the main couple, like you and Chika. For creative reasons, obviously Attack on Titan does some amazing work creatively with action and movement. And at the same time, we got the rotoscoping for the Chika dance, which was
That's
spectacular.
true.
And then the idol battle dance finale that they did, and then the one making fun of Starship Troopers. And
that's so good.
Actually, there were a lot of really creative art choices in the anime, like the rap battle.
But AOT has rumbling.
It does, and I saw that live, and it was great. But I would give up that memory forever if I could see the singer who does the opening to Kaguya-sama live.
Oh my gosh. What's his name?
You just unproved your own point.
What's his name?
He's like, oh wait,
I
actually.
can't remember, but he's amazing. Daddy Daddy Do.
Daddy
Daddy Daddy Do. Rumbling is great. Daddy Daddy Do is a better song. It's a catchier song. Rumbling makes me feel dread. Daddy Daddy Do makes me feel joy.
But did you see a Pikachu?
No, I didn't go to see it.
Did you see a Pikachu during Daddy Daddy Do?
I didn't.
I just think AOT is it aims higher and it succeeds on all fronts.
It's so hard because it occupies such different spaces.
Yeah.
Yes. But I would also argue by Kaguya-sama, I mean, we'll see the effects of it, but it really stands out in the
And you're
rom-com genre a lot.
also being a manga reader for Kaguya. It's like
No, I'm solely judging the anime.
No. I'm saying it's so hard to now because I know what's gonna come.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh. Like,
but I would argue that it peaked. Like the season we got is the best part of the story. Like not that the other seasons are bad, but like the best part of it is the confession.
I know,
in
but
the
I
movie.
think that everything that now comes after helps debunk that it's just a romance anime.
True.
So I think that's I think it's a positive.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, even if you just judge what it does for romance and for comedy.
Yeah.
We got to judge based on what exists now on television.
I mean, if I'm thinking best, I'm thinking influence, and unfortunately, that's Attack on. I really want it to be Kaguya, but I think it's AOT for me.
I think that's why this is so, because we
I
picked
can't
like
believe
some
you
of our
got to
favorite
take.
animes.
You got to take a picture. We took a picture with the voice actress of Kaguya. You got to stand closer to her than I did, and you're still voting Attack on Titan. You didn't deserve that position. I should have dressed as Kaguya.
Sorry.
You got to crowd surf a baby during rumbling. No, I'm kidding.
What? Oh.
All right.
Oh, this is
Frieren
this is
versus
tough.
Arcane.
This is really hard, actually.
Did
Did either of you watch season 2?
of Arcane?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Based on what I've seen of Frieren and Arcane, I think I like Arcane more.
Oh, interesting. I thought you were gonna go the other way, having not seen season 2.
I think I like Arcane. I just think like every time a new episode came out, I was more excited to see Arcane than I was to see Frieren.
Okay.
And I don't know if that makes it better, but when they're so evenly matched, like that's the only difference I could see between them because I love them both.
Despite the fact that I'm saying like I've seen season 2 and everything, Frieren is one of my 10 out of 10 anime, just season 1. Like ignoring what else comes, and Arcane's like a 9.2 because I think they needed to give it an extra episode. I loved Arcane.
Hey, I'll put it in perspective for you because I'm also Team Frieren. Baby Fern or Baby Jinx? Baby Fern.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Also, I prefer Frieren cosplayers to Arcane cosplayers.
I don't have anything against Arcane cosplayers.
Oh, then you don't know enough about
Oh,
Arcane
okay.
cosplayers.
I mean, I've seen the Baby No Money and Will Neff, Jinx and Victor and Jace cosplay. So thirsty fans. Arcane has the thirstiest fans.
Thinking about Arcane too, just knowing I haven't watched it, so this is secondhand. But knowing some of the criticisms that season 2 of Arcane has received,
None of that exists for Frieren. I don't think there's any criticism for that at all.
then I'm fine going with Frieren.
Like, yeah.
Frieren also gave us What Would Himmel Do, which is, I think, the greatest. It's better than What Would Jesus Do.
Yeah.
Because Himmel is like such a wholesome person.
Like
because
for
Himmel's
me,
real.
For me, Arcane,
In my heart.
Arcane could have been ended at season 1, and I'm
it
like,
would've
the
been.
story is over. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not thirsty for more. Frieren, on the other hand, I'm like, okay, what's next? The journey's not over. Let's see now, like passing the torch to the next generation.
I would agree with you and say that Arcane season, like, if Arcane was just season 1, I would have been like, okay, that's hard, but like, okay, it could have ended. Season 2 just made me want more because I was like, oh, you didn't finish some stories, and now I need more of like what you've set up. Yeah.
All right.
This is
our final
This is
four.
arguably like some of the top 10 on. Yeah.
Dungeon
This
Meshi.
just turned into like Mel's top 10.
Dungeon Meshi, Cyberpunk,
I think if you hit the vote thing now, it'll probably just do
AOT,
it.
and Frieren. All right. So here we go. First one, Dungeon Meshi versus Cyberpunk.
I hate this game.
I'm just gonna go for it. I'm Cyberpunk. I'm Cyberpunk on this
You
one.
seemed like you were about to say.
I was gonna say Cyberpunk. I mean, obviously Cyberpunk. Between these two,
I might also be Cyberpunk because of its one season. I love
Because
Dungeon.
it's done.
I love just because it got through all the emotional arcs it went through. It completed, like, you got catharsis.
Yeah.
Dungeon Meshi has the anime.
It's the build-up.
Is
We're
great,
still building
wonderful. Loved the pivot in styles, and that you think you're just watching a cooking anime, and it's like, no, you're in like a deep fantasy world. Great. but just season 1 didn't get me as many highs as Cyberpunk did.
All right.
And anybody who's watching Dungeon Mesh, or if you haven't, season 2 will get you there. So.
All right. So Cyberpunk it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh,
it's
wait.
just
Now
all-
it's okay.
just
We're
get-
just gonna
just-
click all the ones that we
Yeah.
know.
Which is good. This gives me footage to use. Frieren moved on.
Arcane.
It's so weird that it does it like this.
AOT.
Sorry, I tried to change the vote. I tried copying fans.
Frieren. Okay. AOT
versus
versus
Frieren.
Frieren.
This one's really easy for me. If it's Frieren. Frieren doesn't have a low point for me. Like, there's no wasted time. There's no wasted episodes. There's no drop in quality. It has higher uplifting. Like, there's great moments in Attack on Titan that like lift your spirits, but there's such like beautifully wholesome moments that just make me
very
feel
true.
at peace in Frieren. And there's a wider cast, and I care about all of them.
Frieren makes slow burn in like very, very enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, and I feel like there's more noticeable impacts on the world in Frieren than in Attack on Titan. Like, you can see the impacts and like, okay, they're damaging these people and now they're at war, but like Frieren, through her history, you get to see like, oh, how the world has changed, and you get to watch it slowly grow.
Yes. I thought you meant the real world, because I was like,
no.
I think AOT has had more of an impact in
Yes.
RL
Yes.
than Frieren.
The world feels more, it's weird to say this, but feels more lived in Frieren. Like, I feel like it's a
Yes.
great wide world, whereas Attack on Titan, despite the fact in later
Well,
seasons you
yeah.
learn how big the world is,
Yeah.
feels smaller to me.
Because it still is from the point of view of people who haven't lived that world.
Yeah.
Or centers around, because the point of view sort
Which
of
is weird
changes
because
in
it's
the
easier
last
for them to
season.
move in. Frieren, it's all walking and like carriages, and yet that world feels bigger to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, this is a hard one. Attack on Titan to me is like one of the pioneers, but there are clearly, maybe it's just because, you know, the attention to detail and everything. It's like, to me, there's a lot of gaps, there's a lot of questioning, and just overall acceptances in the story. Whereas, to your point, I feel like Frieren is a much more fleshed out world. It's a lot more fleshed out characters. You care about a lot more of the characters. It's not so much as like, it's not as jarring as Attack. It doesn't take such a shift
In Attack on Titan, you watch like houses get destroyed, and you're like, yeah, that sucks. War is bad. And in Frieren, like one old man in a village is like concerned about his missing wife, and you're like, we gotta find this woman. Like,
Yeah.
I will not rest until this gets resolved. I care about this man you just introduced me to.
I love how ambitious AOT is.
Oh, it's very ambitious,
And
I mean, yeah, Isayama is like a genius.
and it was also well planned out.
I
Yeah.
have a soft spot for people who swing for the fences.
Yeah.
So, which is why it's really hard for me to.
We are literally
Choose Frieren.
putting up some of like the top 10 anime on like Mal, which you know,
this is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
we're debating
You-
positions on a leaderboard essentially.
You guys are both Team Frieren.
It's Frieren.
You
Yeah.
both are
so you can
Frieren?
feel if you.
I'm
Ooh.
both ways.
Emily's not going to let you have an out. You're going to have to weigh in.
We named our cats.
Pete and Sasha. I know.
But I mean, was Frieren even out then?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
It was.
you could have named your cat Fern.
But we have two girls, so it made it. I
You
wasn't
could've
gonna name them
done
Fern.
Fern and Frieren.
And they're like sisters, so I
And
couldn't
one's
make
just
them-
constantly doing the other's hair and forcing it to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at them now, one of them is. Oh no, both no. They
Okay.
fit AOT more, but
you guys have a bigger tie into
ooh,
I mean, so best anime. My barometer of best anime.
this. Yeah, best anime.
Is audience reach, quality, characters. Also gave us Levi. I think I'm gonna have to go with AOT on this one.
Wow.
I
Fucking Gojo girly.
I'm-
Ghetto girly. Sorry. the TikTok thirst is winning this one.
yeah, I'm a son of Peak.
Peak finger.
Yeah.
All right, Attack on
right,
Titan. Attack on
AOT.
Titan moves on.
Oh God.
This one's really easy for me now.
Also,
AOT versus Cyberpunk.
Can you imagine? We saw the AOT musical. Can you imagine a Frieren musical?
Yes, it'd be great.
It would be 10 hours long,
It
and
would
there
just be the Yoasobi opening.
there'd be a song every hour.
Do, 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 do.
It'd be the most boring musical. I'd probably fall asleep.
They just need Fern and Stark to dance though.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that Stark. Is it Stark or Stark?
it's Stark.
Stark. That's like to say
That's
Stark.
how Fern says it
Oh, okay.
In the Japanese.
in the English.
Oh, that's weird.
I back to what I was saying. I would love to see that dragon fight in
Yeah.
like on stage.
All
Okay,
right, Cyberpunk Attack
versus
on
AOT.
on Titan. I've kind of said my pieces on this one. Like,
I-
this is actually easier for me than if we
yeah.
moved on.
I think Cyberpunk.
Yeah, not for reach, although
No.
Cyberpunk had a massive reach.
It did. It
Yeah.
transcended.
Which is insane because it was a video game that most people had not played, even though the game was pretty
And
big.
when they did play it, like initially, people didn't like
Yeah,
the video game
yeah.
because it came out with so many bugs.
Yeah, Cyberpunk turned the trajectory of that video game around. They'd already like made some patches, but Cyberpunk blew that game up again. And then, you know, it's Trigger, so it's a more westernized style that they went for in this, so it feels less like anime and still blew up.
Yes. And
Attack on
this-
Titan is very anime, and obviously it had a huge impact and got a lot of people in, but Cyberpunk, people who didn't care about anime were like, oh, this is like popping up on Netflix, let me see this. That song took off on on social media, even if you didn't know the anime, it was popping up.
and the economy of storytelling, one season, got it all, and I cared just as much about them as I do about Peak.
About Peak.
I don't care about any other Attack on Titan characters.
Peak was wonderful.
Peak is the only thing
And
I
not just
care
because
about.
that figure that I'll buy someday.
Emily?
I'm sticking OG.
Okay.
I'm sticking AOT.
I like
Sick
I like you were
of
saying
AOT.
OG for an anime that ended like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But yes, I get your point.
I
This is actually a tougher contest than I thought we were going to get in this bracket.
Yeah, and I think, so before we do our final vote here, I think we have two more brackets that we might have to save for future episodes
Yeah.
because we're going long. We have most mid-genre,
I think that would be a fun one to do, though.
and we have best boys versus best girls. Maybe we rename it to Sons of Makima versus Daughters of Gojo.
Makima isn't in it. I might have to change the bracket.
We might.
Oh no.
Yeah.
All right, I
okay,
have one
but
last
back to
piece
this.
on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Or my another argument, right? So for me, it's like, okay, Cyberpunk has the philosophical internal retrospect of, okay, am I ever good enough? Well, if I could build my perfect being, what would it be? Finding love, right? Never never having enough, right?
Yes.
Very similar sentiments that also Eren has.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think what, to me, makes Attack on Titan give that extra edge is because it has that blend of political intrigue, mystery, everything has a meaning. Like, it makes, and because of the sophistication in Attack on Titan, it makes me want to go back and watch it again.
That's a very good point. If I'm picking my favorite, it's Cyberpunk. If I'm picking best, that's a very good argument.
Yeah,
for
you made
AOT.
a strong point for AOT. I mean, I do want to go back and watch Cyberpunk again. I just know it's going to make me sad at the
Yeah,
end.
you go back knowing, though, like,
What's
I want to
funny-
go in and feel this
They're
way.
they're both protagonists who shouldn't have been the protagonists of their story because they both fail.
Cyberpunk makes me feel. AOT makes me think.
Head or heart.
That's why we should have put High School DxD on here, because then
then
I
it's your
would have
other
thought
head.
with another head. There you go. Oh God. Okay. All I know is that no matter what we vote for, people already hate us for this bracket. So
People hate us for the things we didn't include. People hate us because Kaguya didn't go to the finals. People hate us for a lot of reasons on this one.
One Piece is mid.
Yeah, oh my God.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is not good. Oh, Cyberpunk versus AOT.
Emily really raised a strong argument, but Rebecca's in my head, and I have to for Rebecca.
I'm AOT.
It's such a tough argument, and I think you made a strong argument, but Rebecca's telling me, and that song is telling me to vote for Cyberpunk because that all hit so hard. This was way harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm Cyberpunk, you're Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
so
Bling.
all the pressure's on you.
It's not only rumbling, though.
Think about
it's
that song on the moon. Aaron didn't make it to the moon, but somebody did.
And Sasaga.
Aaron only made it out of the wall. Someone made it to the moon.
Oh my gosh. And then we have Armin.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the idea of like sending women on to like carry your memory as they see what you didn't.
I hate this. Why did we do this? Why did we do this to ourselves?
Now I'm going to start coming up with bad arguments. David didn't have to come back as a bitch little bird to watch his lover with another man.
Okay. Cyberpunk, I like Cyberpunk more. I would watch Cyberpunk Like, if somebody told me right now, gun to my head, which you have to pick one to watch and you can never watch the other one again, I'm gonna pick Cyberpunk.
Really?
Okay.
But I think AOT is a... Oh, I don't want to say it. I think AOT is the best anime of all time.
Well, now that we've caught you on
Sasagayo.
camera, we can talk about Isayama's problematic views that you've now agreed with.
I agree with all of his views.
All right, Attack on Titan wins.
Attack on Titan wins for
Our best anime bracket. This decides it for the world.
Aaron, you won this time.
Perfectly Mid's best anime of 2025.
Of 2020
Oh
to
my
2025.
goodness.
Yeah. Wow.
No, 2024, because some of these get new seasons this year.
This was horrible.
It was.
And we have 2 more brackets and 2 future episodes.
I do think at the end of the year, we revisit, not the whole bracket, but we just come back and say Dungeon Meshi, I think
Or we say, like, what would we change?
Frieren season 2, oh no, that wouldn't even come out. Maybe there's only one show. Dandadan will have a second season, and Dungeon Meshi, I think, comes out this year. So
Konosuba,
that might
right?
have
The
changed.
last season comes out this
An OVA, not the last season.
Oh, the
there's
last
more
OVA.
to the story.
I never wanted
Just to see
this
if like
again.
that changes your answer. to
Psyche
anything.
K. No, I'm just kidding.
I think next
It would have
time...
been crazy if we all planned ahead to let Psyche K win just to create a troll episode.
That'll be our April Fool's episode.
Yeah.
We need to do one next time we don't choose best anime. I think we choose like
We came
Best-
in real hot with this.
Best action or
anime.
something
or
like
we
that.
choose like best guilty pleasure anime,
Yeah.
something with no stakes. Because this was so hard.
That's why I made the genre one, because the genre one is just, I think, going to be fun.
This
There's
I think
no
was
stakes
just
to best
for us.
genre.
This was for us for funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
this
no,
was so much fun.
This wasn't for funsy. This is for official purposes. If you disagree with this bracket, you're wrong.
And I think you should disagree with this bracket. Tell us in the comments why they're wrong for picking Attack on Titan.
Our opinions are wrong. Your opinions are wrong. We're perfectly mid. This has been Best Anime. We'll see you next time. Bye.
No, wait. What's the pose for Cyberpunk? There's nothing. Fuck, we're doing this.
The pose for Cyberpunk is just.
Yeah. Choom.
Chooms. Bye, Chooms.
Yeah, that took longer than
Don't
I thought
be
it
a
would.
tune.
Holy